Alright man, another day, another video, and that means I have more free picks for you for Thursday's games in the NBA. And man, as you can see on the screen, we've been doing really well in VIP. And to go on top of that, man, I've been tracking all of my free picks right here over the past couple videos. And in the last 3 videos, we are on a 7-1 run, so extremely profitable. And then also over the last 10 videos or so, we're 19-9 with a 67.9% win percentage. And if you're hitting it over 60%, you're obviously going to make a ton of money. So today, once again, we're going to try to sweep. I have 3 really good picks for you. I'm not going to ask for you to go use my code or sign up for anything. All I ask is you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into these picks. All right, so let's go ahead. The first pick that I have for you is that guy, Jalen Green, to go over his points at 22.5. As you can see right here, he's hitting it on the season right now at a 50% rate, 15 out of 30 in his last 30 games. If you go all the way out to the whole season, obviously, he's hitting at a little bit lower rate at 41.3%. But what I love about this is when you add a quick little advanced filter and you go and look at games when he hasn't had Jabari Smith playing, his percentage goes up to 76.9%. And this is where you find value. You find value where there's injuries. And this is why I think this 22.5 line is way too low. Now, on some books, you can get it at 21.5. Obviously, if you can get it at 21.5, take the 21.5 because that is a better line. But at 22.5, I still love this. I personally am going to be taking it 22.5. And then to go on top of Jabari Smith not playing, also love the fact then you take that filter off and you go to head-to-head. He has hit against the Grizzlies 2 out of the 3 times that he's played them. And at the same time, when you take him away, he's obviously hit both times against the Grizzlies, and that's, of course, who he's going to be playing against. Now, not only has he hit both times against them head-to-head, but the matchup for how he plays is also extremely good. Number one, they have the fastest pace in the entire NBA, so he's going to get the ball in his hands a lot, which means he's going to have more scoring opportunities. And then to add on top of that, when you look at his play style and how Memphis plays defense, you're going to see pretty quickly, as a pick-and-roll ball handler, he scores 35% of his points doing that, and the Grizzlies are 21st worst at stopping that. And then when you move down to how many points he scores in transition, that's where he scores 21% of his points. The Grizzlies, once again, are terrible in transition. And then when you go down and see where he scores his 3rd most points, and that it's free throws, and that Memphis also allows the 28th most free throws made, that's when you see that not only is he looking really good because Jabari isn't playing and he's already hitting at a 76.9% rate when he's not in, but he's also playing against a defense that might be good overall, but when it comes to guarding him and his play style, they're not very good, and I think that's why the last 2 times he played him, he went over, and I think, once again, at this 22.5 point line, he's going to go over, probably by a decent amount of points. I expect him to score 27, 28 plus in this game, and obviously, if that happens, we're going to cash out. So, that's going to be my first official pick, and then we move on to the second pick. I'm going to stay in this same game, and we're going to go to that guy, Jaren Jackson Jr., and we're going to take a look at his rebounds. When looking at the rebounds, I'm going to be taking the under at this 6.5 point line. This is a line that every book has it at right now. I like this line to go under. As you can see, he's hitting this over at just 40%, so that's good for the under. And then when you add to that, that there's going to be 3 players out in this game, and when those people are out, his hit rate goes down to just 21%. He's played 19 games with all 3 of these guys being out, and in those 19 games, he's only hit his over 4 times. Now, what I also like is when you take off these filters and go to head-to-head, that the last time he played the Rockets, he only had 2 rebounds. He went way under this mark. Now, of course, in the game before that, he did go over, but I liked when I saw the Rockets hold him to this amount of rebounds, even though he played 30 minutes. And then to go on top of that, when you look at the matchup, the Rockets allow the 8th least amount of rebounds, and that is obviously really good for this prop. So what I like to do is I like to take off head-to-head, and then I like to add opponent rebounds allowed, and we're going to make them. And we're going to look at what happens when he faces top 8 teams in rebounds allowed. And right there, as you can see, he's hitting it at a 25% rate. And if you go ahead and you add those guys, once again, that aren't playing to that, you're going to see pretty quickly that he has only hit that line 1 out of 6 times. And it was, of course, against the Rockets. I don't see any way that he goes over again against the Rockets. I think this was just an outlier game, and these percentages right here show it. So I'm smashing this under all day long at 6.5. If it gets lowered to 5.5, it might, because these lines are pretty early right now. I don't know if I would take that, but I do love it at 6.5. So go snag this line at 6.5 and take the under. That's my second pick. Now for my third and final pick, we're going to go over to the Lakers and Wizards game. And we're going to take a look at that guy, Kyshawn George, and his points. When it comes to his points, obviously his line here is at 7.5, and I'm going to be taking the over. I know you can see right here that his hit rate is just 36.7% on the season, but just like the other guys, we're going to go take a look at the games without players that are going to be missing. And when you take away Malcolm Brogdon, what you're going to see is that his hit rate goes up to 58.3%. Now, to add to this, you can also go ahead and go to opponent defensive rating. The Lakers had the 23rd defensive rating, so let's just make it the bottom 10 teams in defensive rating. And what you're going to see is that his percentage is 66.7 there. Move it down to bottom 10, and he's at an 80% rate. 4 out of 5 times that he has played a team with the bottom defensive rating without Malcolm Brogdon playing, he has hit this over, which is obviously really, really good to see. Once again, I think we're getting a good line here at just 7.5, so I'm smashing this over. And then to go on top of that, what I also like to see is let's just go ahead and remove all of these filters and look at head-to-head. The last time he played the Lakers, he barely went over this mark. So he went over this mark against the Lakers the last time he played. Malcolm Brogdon isn't going to be playing, and that raises his percentage of hitting his over, and their defensive rating is not very good. And when you add all of those things together, his hit rate turns into an 80%. Obviously not a huge sample size, but 5 games is a decent amount, and I think he's going to stay the same at this 80% rate, so I expect this over to hit pretty easily, and that is officially my third pick. I'm really confident in all these picks. Hopefully we can go at minimum 2-1 once again, have a profitable day, but obviously we're hoping for the 3-0 sweep once again like we did, not in last video, but the 2 videos prior to that, and if that happens, we're going to make a lot of money. All I ask is you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you watched till now. I really appreciate it, and until next time, let's go print some money.